we're diving into the vibrational landscape of your well being and mine, talking about the root causes of disease, the power of frequency based healing, and what true transformation looks like when we start aligning with the body's natural intelligence. Welcome back, beautiful souls, to another illuminating episode of the Transform with Angel show, where we dive deep into the heart of change, awaken our inner healer, and explore new pathways to becoming the highest version of ourselves. Today's episode is one of those soul shifting conversations that just might change the way you look at health forever. I'm thrilled to introduce to you a true pioneer in the realm of energetic healing and holistic transformation, Dr. Heather Marchand, a leading practitioner in the field of bioresonance therapy. If you've never heard of bioresonance, or you've been curious about how energy and frequency can play a role in your healing, you're in for a powerful ride. Together, we're diving into the vibrational landscape of your well being and mine, talking about the root causes of disease, the power of frequency based healing, and what true transformation looks like when we start aligning with the body's natural intelligence. I am absolutely fascinated with this stuff. And today we'll explore some stories of real health breakthroughs, the science meets spirit behind bioresonance, and how you can begin to reclaim your power as the healer within. So grab your tea, open your heart, and get ready to transform your health from the inside out. Let's welcome Dr. Heather to the show.
Thank you.
I am so glad to finally have this chat with you because what was it? Was it a month ago? Maybe a couple months ago? We connected.
We connected 2 months ago.
Okay, 2 months ago. So curious about this bioresonance. You really piqued my curiosity with it. And I really was looking forward to having this chat with you to learn more. And when we did have that preliminary conversation, you're like, hey, just send me a couple strands of your hair and I'll show you how it works. I'm like, what? Okay, this is fascinating. So you've got my DNA. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about how you got into this. I'd like to hear a little bit about who you are and what maybe your transformation story is. If you have a health transformation story that got you into this field, we can start there. And then I would love to dive into the results of the findings and the results
Mm-hmm.
of what you found from my hair strands. I am super, super excited to hear about this and what's going on within my body here. So tell us about you. What's your story?
So I went to school and became a doctor of chiropractic, and I did nutrition and holistic health for 20 years. But in that path, I developed a rare disease and had quite a few life crises where they couldn't understand why my body was attacking my heart, was filling up full of fluid, and every 6 weeks I would be back in the hospital fighting for my life. And at that point, they said, you know what? This is just going to keep happening, and we have to take the sac off your heart. So we have to do open heart surgery. And I was 30. I mind you, I was 30. And I said, get out of my room. You're not cutting my girls apart. I'm only 30. I'm going to find another way. And
Yeah.
that really began my intensive journey. And obviously, I was the case study. And that just unfolded and unfolded in doing lab tests and with all these different companies. And some said I had sensitivity, some said I had viruses. Then I needed to do a detox. So I did all those herbal things that was suggested. And my colleagues were doing bioresonance, this technology. It's been around for a bit. It is FDA approved as a medical device number two. It doesn't diagnose disease. So we need to say that right off the bat. But for me, that was my game changer. That put me from surviving to thriving. And ask me if I've ever had open heart surgery.
I'm gonna guess no.
No, no. So
Excellent.
whatever reset itself. And
Wow.
that became my passion after doing all those lab tests. So were we guessing? Wait a minute. My body, my computer system can talk. The innate intelligence, as years go on, we're finding out the magic of the body. Just like your car, you take your car in and the mechanic scans all the electrical components and they get a report on exactly what they need to do. Your body's the same. And either you're in my office holding a metal device, which 20% are, 80% are around the world, like you, with a hair sample that only belongs to you, and it's just a mathematical frequency. So everything is frequency. And so testing your frequency today, I'm really just putting your hair on the unit and then going into the system and doing a comprehensive analysis.
Well, thank you for sharing your personal story and how you got here. You look like the picture of health. You look vibrant and beautiful and healthy. So, whatever you're doing,
Most people with my case are on disability. So everybody's like, how are you thriving? Why do you have so much energy? And I'll be like, because I know what my body wants. I know it's not vitamin C. It's telling me it wants this herb or it's battling this influenza, which happened to me this winter. And something like that can take me down and put me right in the hospital. But I was able to see that and give my body that frequency back because it's homeopathic isotropic medicine. And boom, there you
wow.
have it. I don't end up in a
Yes.
crisis.
Okay, I have so many questions on how we get from point A to point B. So, why don't you take us through that
Okay.
journey and reveal what you have found from my hair strands in real time here? And I will ask questions as we go along. I'm not too dumbfounded.
So I really like to go in and do it live because
Okay.
I think it shows people that wow, this isn't hokey pokey. This is a lot of data. And it's going through and asking a lot of specific questions to your computer, which is your DNA, which is your hair, and that is quantum physics. So this is the first comprehensive scan. Green is your body has nothing frequency wise to say. Red is it responded in a high frequency, meaning it's of greater importance. And yellow is an intermediate frequency. And as you can see on the right, we're going through and even testing what colors are hearing or healing to you. Even your teeth, because each tooth relates to an organ. So you'd be amazed at what I see with people with dental toxins and severe gastric issues,
Oh,
because
that's
that's
interesting.
completely related. And
Just had
so
a
we know
calm.
then
Yeah. Wow.
exactly what's going on. So it's testing many platforms, even a basic emotional mental signature, which I think is important because now we know mindfulness changes the neurochemistry. Trauma changes chemistry in the body as well. So
Mm,
that's really, really important to notice. And so what you see in the balancing item, again, the yellow is intermediate and the red is a higher frequency.
mm,
So in the balancing item, it's what your body found and what frequency it needs to balance it out. So we're not guessing on a basic protocol, okay, take this detox in general. It's going specifically. It will go through each de detoxing organ, which are your main three: lymphatic, kidney, liver. And it'll even go in and test enzymes if you have all those to do all those processes in the liver, which for me, I did not. So I could do every detox in the world. After all this data is collected, I asked it to go back through and have the body tell me what's the priority now? What's number one? What's bothering it the most? So again, it's not a guessing game out of, a book of stuff I've done the last 20 years. You do this and this protocol for these symptoms or this issue. It is exactly what your body said it wants.
Hey, everybody, I just wanted to let you know real quick that Dr. Heather has offered a $50 savings if you choose to take advantage and invest in your health by doing this bioresonance scan. I highly recommend it. It has transformed my health. The results that I am seeing are absolutely incredible. If you take your health seriously, please go to Dr. Heather's website, enter the discount promotional code, and take advantage of the $50 off the initial consultation. I can't wait to hear all about your results. Here's to transforming our health together.
So as you see here is the pre-test. Again, all these greens, your body had no frequency to put back to us. The red is significant. So what was on that back list here on the colon, on the list we've already found the body, like that's what I want. That brings me to balance. Same with joints. And then we go to
Hold
large
on, hold on 1 second. So the colon is red.
in the
The
pre-test.
the pre-test, what's the number 65? What is that an indicator out of 100 or what is?
Yeah, it gives it a higher frequency. That's based on frequency for my data of
Oh,
importance. And then you go to joints, and then you go to large intestine. Pre-test is red. Post-test is still red. So I
mm,
need to dig into that a bit further, kind of be a detective. So you have three main systems right here. The rest are green. So bravo. That's good. That's
mhm,
really good. So let's go in and figure out what's going on with your colon. What does
mm,
your colon need? Being in this industry for 20 years, I'm going to go in and check specific filters, we call them, to check many, many different things to see if we find exactly what it is. And if we do retest you, did I find it? Or do we need to even go deeper? So, no, now it's green. So let's go in and see what made it green. Now, may I ask you, what is your objective or your health goals?
I have been on a detox journey for a couple of years. I've tested very high in mold and environmental toxicity, specifically the toxins found in pesticides, which I find very fascinating. And I don't live on a golf course or anything like that, but I've been finding different protocols for detoxing. So I've not been able to lose weight like my body used to be able to do, because a toxic body won't burn fat or anything like that. Even though I was training for half marathons and running, burning all kinds of calories, I was actually gaining weight. So I think that's one of my biggest things. I first of all, I want to feel healthy. I've gotten to the point where I don't have the fatigue and the brain fog. I'm thinking a lot clearer. I've got energy. So I'm doing all the right things there. So my main objective is to feel healthy, feel youthful. I am fighting
Right,
aging. Because
absolutely.
I just I think it's a state of mind, and I think you can keep your body healthy for longer than we believe. And I have battled with gut health actually for several years. So this is really interesting that it's showing up is not a surprise. Things like diverticulitis.
You've been diagnosed.
Yes. Mhm.
Okay. Okay. I'm
So
just
yeah,
gonna
let's
go.
let's get that cleared up.
So you struggle with that on a daily basis then?
No, no, no. It'll flare up. I know, certain foods or maybe stress. I'm not exactly sure what triggers it, but when
Okay.
it does, I will go immediately into a liquid diet for 2 or 3 days
Okay.
and do a cleanse and just kind of clear myself out. And that definitely helps. But
So
it,
out of all the data, look at what your body prioritized as number one. And this is what balanced the colon to green in the second test. So this is a homeopathic formula. And if I scroll down here, you can see the whole blend of all the things that are in this. There's about 12 different things in this, and we'll see that on the report section. So anytime I work with a client, I always record the call because I go through so much data so fast. And
Mm,
then you'll get a lovely detailed report from me, which looks like this. So I'll just pull up this screen because it's easier to read for everybody. So your body's asked for a very specific combination. And it also tells us the dosage. Again, I'm not guessing because that's protocol with colon. It is the dosage. And then here's your fungus, number two. Before it was number one, before we dug into the colon a bit, it's
hmm.
a prion. Now, I have to verify
What
this.
is that? Oh my gosh. And how do you get it? Is that like mold? I mean, wow, that's fascinating.
It is a protein. It's a protein specifically that takes a funky shape and it's a fungal protein. And I was just at an integrative medical conference and they're saying now the mycotoxins of all these funguses that we're exposed to that are on nuts, coffee, chocolate are the main three ways we also get it and food safety and grains, the testing of grains. Now, when they're looking at tumors, they're finding fungus in those tumors. They're mycotoxins. Your body puts them away and puts fat around them to protect it because the body does its magic. And this is what it's doing. So it's now a huge thing in integrative oncology is dealing with all this fungus. I
Wow.
had a lot of fungus in the colon as well as a lot of different parasites. And I've done many parasite cleanses around the full moon as they have said that that's the best.
Really?
I tried everything.
Yes.
And so this gave me the information directly from my body, exactly what it wants and exactly for how long in your protocol, if you can see here, is for 6 weeks. And I'll imprint this data for you in a homeopathic. And that's how we come up with the titration of 12 drops morning and night. You put it under your tongue. So you don't have to go out and find all these things to buy.
I gotcha. Okay. So you'll prescribe it. This is part of what you do as a practitioner.
Right. This
Okay.
all gets all these frequencies. This is a beautiful thing about the database is all these frequencies are stored in the database. So when I give you the remedy, I give you everything your body asks for in what how much it asks for. It's kind of like imprinting those MP3 players. It's the same technology. It's the same. And just to reiterate, I'm not a medical doctor. I don't treat disease. I don't diagnose disease. That needs to be said for
Yeah.
safety,
Okay.
legality.
I appreciate that.
The third thing your body asks for is a mineral, and it's an iron. It's iron specifically,
Mm,
and that's absorbed in the gut. And I've actually seen a lot of women in, their perimenopause going up to menopause that need iron and B12, but they're taking it. And they're also taking the activated form, which means you don't have to digest it or methylate it, it's already ready, but their levels aren't going up. But when we give them the frequency medicine, it's called of iron, which is a molecular structure, which is just frequency again, then their body absorbs it. And that's when their numbers finally go up. So it is really becomes really, really powerful and amazing. We have,
So let me, can I ask a question though? So in
yep,
my blood work, I don't appear to be iron deficient at all. It's
that's
normal. So how is this?
That's a great
Diagnosis
question.
different.
So it's not a diagnosis. It's your body responded in when we asked it if it wants any minerals or vitamins, it responded to the frequency of iron. Now, by the time we know, by the time the body puts the imbalance data into the blood, it's already been working on it and already had a frequency imbalance weeks and weeks before. Just like same with the thyroid. I see people who's have thyroid symptoms, but they don't have the data in the blood, but they have a dis-ease already setting up in that electrical system before the disease forms, which then that data gets put into the blood.
Fascinating. Yeah.
So
And that's when the symptoms start showing up.
exactly.
Yeah.
And then bladder comes up for you related to the parasympathetic system. So we have sympathetic, parasympathetic run the body, and digestion, relaxation, restorative sleep is done in parasympathetic. But parasympathetic also deals with urinary and colon stuff. And so your body has just asked for something very specific for the bladder. And so if we go back into the actually looking at the data, I don't want to take too much time. I can get a little bit nerdy with data here. You can read all about this and how the electronics with the sphincter even work with the bladder. And Chinese medicine 5,000 years ago set the frequencies for all the organs, which we now know today have been true. It is accurate. And so that's what your body has come up with and has asked for a balancing system. And that's an herbal support, which you can read as well. An amino acid, it's functional. You can read about that. Um, Specific K3. So taking vitamin D with a K1, K2, K3 is important. And again, that's in integrative oncology now, that the research for taking vitamin D, 2,500 milligrams a day, is significant for the system. So I always put people on it before, and I still put people on it now. I give them the frequency if their body asks for it, but because of the biochemical data, I still have them take those drops every morning. This is your gut, spirulina. So this is water algae. If and it's green and it feeds all the cells in the body. If there was nothing left on earth but spirulina and water, we'd live.
Mm.
That's how powerful this is. The antioxidants, all the vitamins, your copper, we're back to iron again, and it has all your essential amino acids. This is what we call a micronutrient of the cells. And when people have a colon imbalance, it generally shows up.
So the parasympathetic signature or result there, I know that through the toxicity in my body, it has thrown off all my hormones. And therefore, the cortisol has risen. The anxiety that comes with that has also been one of the symptoms that I have.
100%.
So that's really fascinating. But I feel like I'm balancing out in that regard, but it may not be, it may be impacting my bladder like you're indicating here in ways that I don't even realize.
And that
Healing.
system is critically important for our entire body because when
Ah,
you're in
totally.
parasympathetic, these things work. When you're in sympathetic, these other things work. And if you're not getting restorative sleep in your parasympathetic, then your body can't do its cleaning at night. And
Hmm.
that's where the natural detoxification comes in. And so people can be missing that. And now in today's society, I often see that. It often comes up, not specifically with the bladder per se. It
Right.
just comes up as wanting an electrical balance because that's all computerized, that's all electronically set. So it only makes sense to reset it electrically, right?
Sure.
And people do really well with it. My clients do really well with it. Some that haven't slept for a long time are now sleeping because their body's able to get into that other system to do what it needs to do. So because of your colon and what you had mentioned to me with diverticulitis, I checked drainage. Why? Because there's so many cells and lymphatic tissue around the colon that if that isn't moving itself out through the lymphatic up to the liver, the colon never really de-inflames or heals. And so I asked your body, is there anything we can do for a drainage? And it came up with this lovely blend. And again, there's 100+ different forms of drainage. And so your body chose one specifically. And again, this data is stored within the system. And you can see right here all the things that are in that. So bilberry, Spanish chestnut, horse chestnut, specific olive, young shoots. And if you also look at it, supports detoxification of the lymphatics, which, like I just said, goes follow suit with different colon things. So that's
Mhm.
dead on for me.
I have
Um,
been complaining about puffiness in my lymphatic system. I know that it's been clogged. I've been trying everything to get that lymphatic moving through my body. Puffy
so it'll be
armpits, groin, it's like I never had this. What is going on? So that's definitely an objective of mine that I'm well aware of.
and so then in 6 weeks, when we reanalyze you, it'll be another layer of the onion because you don't eat healthy once and then you're fine. So when we get to the other layer of the onion, we'll compare the same exact testing to today's testing to see how your body reset and modulated and where your body's going to go next. But I want to take you to the next. Your body has asked me to do a specific test on weight loss.
Mm.
So that goes in line with what you said.
Yeah.
I even have the system set up to test colors because the rainbow, right? That's all frequency. That's why the rainbow is in the same, the same colors are in the same place. It's light frequency. We know that through physics. So pink, the vibration of pink, you can see there, and the psychological healing of pink as well. So
Pink
your
and
body
honoring pink. Isn't that funny? Wow.
and looking
Yeah.
fab in it, and your body says, thank you.
Yes.
Because we're listening, right? For the first
Right.
time, we're actually listening to what your computer's telling us. We're not guessing based off a lab test, which is where the body puts the data last, sadly, but we're actually asking it. So I find there's a change in consciousness for people to reconnect with themselves and think about their body because life is busy and I don't think a lot of people do until it's too, being reactive. Some people are proactive, but I'd say most of my clients are reactive with some pretty big clinical cases.
Mhm.
So you can read all about creatine, and that is utilized in the brain. And I find a lot of women our age are asking, their bodies are asking for it. Alanine, you can read all about that. And again, that central nervous system and brain. So that's important. Magnesium. So a lot of people tell me they already take magnesium. Guess what? There's more than 3 types of magnesium in the world. So it's always interesting when people start taking the frequency medicine of magnesium, how that changes for them. Another mineral, cobalt, you can read about that. This is a controversial topic because technically people like to classify this babesia into Lyme's sort of deal, having a vector of a tick or other insects. But I'm finding this bacteria there's about 9 different versions of it. And so this specific DNA frequency one is interesting. And you don't have to be bitten by a tick to show up with that. It will say deer tick under it if you were. But these bacteria, I believe, live in other things because it doesn't coincide with me and clinically for this. So I don't think we're understanding the truth in medicine about this specific bacteria. That's the best I can describe it.
Okay.
So
Do you have a source of where that comes from? If it's not, I mean, other sources other than deer tick or anything like that. Food,
that's
uncooked food, anything.
we have no idea. So
Gotcha.
now, you've heard about all the new insects with all the new bacterias and parasites that they're injecting and the ones that are coming over from Asia. I think we're going to see more and more of these unexplainable things.
Oh gosh. So
Because
like
as
the, yeah,
as there's
mystery.
climate change, there's new insects and new issues, just like we've had a new virus pop up and the world
Yes.
stopped. So
Yes, that was a question that I had about the fungus and that protein that you described, which is kind of an odd protein. And we know the COVID protein is a spiky looking protein. So I'm wondering, because these symptoms, I will say, all appeared after I've had COVID, and I've had it 2 or 3 times now. So what is the alignment with the COVID virus that you've seen or studied or researched? If you have any statistics that might be interesting, because the entire world is experiencing COVID.
it is. And for COVID, there is a lovely program in here created by Dr. Monzo, Monzo. And so when people tell me they've had COVID, I go in and test this very specific protocol set up by him. So that deals a lot with the nanobacteria and inflammation left in the vascular system and any other particles. So it tests a lot of information. And maybe we can do that in a breakout session. I can run through the COVID with you and the scan with you. And that releases a lot of data. But I've had a lot of long-term COVID patients who have gotten no help and they're pretty much not doing well at all. And so we've had some great results. Tammy on the East Coast, she said I could use her name. Within 3 weeks of doing the COVID cleansing protocol, she also had the vaccine, which is a secondary program we look at. And we went through and we cleared COVID again is a different sequence of numbers and DNA. So like treats like an isotropic frequency medicine. And so we gave her back that in isotropic medicine. And that's how then the body modulates it and rids it. And she did exceptionally well. And we cleared the vaccine residue for her, which is a huge buzzword now clinically with all the research. The venoms they used in that vaccine, the preservatives they used in that vaccine. And so, if your body has responded to them and has something to say and wants it out, then that shows up on that vaccine protocol. And so she had both. And so we cleared them both. And 3 weeks later, she was, what is this? I've had this. Nobody could help me. How is this possible? Thank you. And I'm like, my pleasure. My thank you for trusting me. And I'm so glad you can now thrive because, again, I know what that's like.
Yeah, I think more people are walking around accepting these symptoms as being normal, fatigue, irritable, foggy, no focus and concentration. We're walking around like zombies. And I see it. Like nobody is smiling anymore. Nobody's happy. Where's your joy? I really believe that these symptoms are affecting us as a society, a global society, more than we're recognizing. it's the self-aware people that are going, I don't feel like myself. I don't feel
Right.
right. And I don't know what it is. And like me, I've been trying everything, detoxing, going to holistic doctors and naturopaths and getting high potency supplements and everything you can imagine over the past couple of years because I am aware that since I've had COVID, my body has been very different, overweight. Fascinating that this technology is able to help determine what works for an individual to clear
Yes,
out.
it scans your computer. So you know exactly what your computer wants. And this bioresonance technology is based off quantum physics, the same quantum physics that the MRI machine came from. The MRI machine uses a magnet to get all your cells to stop moving so it can take a photo. I'm not using a magnet. I'm using your magnet, your frequency. And that's how I'm getting this data, but it's exactly the same technology.
Awesome.
Um, your next one is chlorella. Again, that is actually the same, very similar algae to your spirulina. So hands down, this is really important for you because it's coming up in a second sort of um, form. Black seed, black currant oil seed. Do you have high blood pressure or high
No.
cholesterol yet at all?
Yeah, that just started showing up as
Hmm.
well. Never
So
had
here's
high
another
cholesterol.
thing. At the Integrative Medical Conference, they talk about all the like HDL, LDL, and then your ratio between them. But in females, our age, the most important thing, the lab test for cholesterol, the format is LPA, because that's what dictates for us heart disease or arterial sclerosis. And so getting the total numbers that everybody's running now, it it's inaccurate for us. And there's a better way to look at it. But clinically, it seems like they only just check those two. And if it's a big, if this is a big anti-inflammatory and it's from the seeds and it really affects um, the cholesterol ratio, but it also really affects your immune function. So, long story short, is it's a massive antioxidant as well.
Excellent.
Your body wants lactase. It's saying you're a bit sensitive to lactose. So your body needs this enzyme to synthesize it, to be able to use it. Which brings me into another case study, a client of mine who couldn't have had some digestive issues as well and needed lactase and cellulase for digesting carbohydrates. And we gave them back to the client in its frequency form, and it desensitizes them. So when they do eventually eat it, they don't have that big response in the inflammatory value. And even with seasonal allergies, I've had them since I've been 12. I mean, plagued with them, taking pills, stuff up my nose, and then it would go into asthma. And last year was the first year after running the allergy protocol 3 times on myself to desensitize exactly what my body said was bothering me: specific weeds, specific trees, specific grass. And so we give that frequency back to the body and it desensitizes the response you have. I'm still breathing the same air. My body just isn't going crazy. And I have friends right now who are still in their 3 years of desensitization at the hospital, which costs a fortune for their allergies.
Mm.
So I'm really proud of that. And I'm so happy because it was miserable for me. Melatonin, your body's asking for melatonin. I'll scoot through this quick. Um, T3. So we talked about before, there's a lot of different thyroid hormones. And again, they test generally TSH and T4. And so T3 is important because that deals with your metabolism. Even though it doesn't show up again in your blood, your body has a frequency need for that molecule to have a normal frequency in that organ to do what it's supposed to do. Okay.
Makes
Um,
sense.
Again, you have another one of these. Your skin asks for a specific homeopathic, B1, but look, tryptophan. Tryptophan is for, goes into your neurotransmitter, serotonin, happy hormone sort of synthesis. And the anti-aging filter your body's asked for circulation and supporting heart health is this huge homeopathic specifically. Which brings me to the next topic on ladies our age. Heart disease is rampant. And they're finding now in the research that if the women are balancing their hormones, which by the way, the only hormone that came up for you was the thyroid. Are you on hormone replacement therapy?
Yes.
Okay. Because most patients who aren't on it all get a lot of other hormone responses of what their body wants. So, whatever you're taking is working for you. So, it's not showing up as your body's wanting estradiol, progesterone, progestin. Men shows up testosterone or the anti-aging hormone DHEA. I often see. So, whatever you're doing there is working for you. So, this is the only thing that showed up for you was the thyroid. But women on bioidentical hormone therapy have a much lower risk of heart disease.
Mhm.
And that is the last research. So that's really important for us. The first part of our life with all the hormones, adolescents, babies, and then now this part of our life should be just as good and vitalizing. And that's where all this anti-aging medicine comes in, which is really fun to do in here because I see a lot of people who want to live with vitality because think about it. We have money now versus when we were young. We are smart, we have goals. And now when we go to retire, that's when we really should be thriving and living. And so my proactive patients are generally of that form in that group of people.
Yeah, excellent. You talk about the estrogen hormones. I had a hysterectomy when I was very young, in my early 30s, due to cancer, and they ripped everything out. So they immediately put me on synthetic hormones, which I was on maybe for 10 years. I hated it. Intuitively, I knew it wasn't good for me. I had to try to find some other options. After 10 years, I just didn't feel right about
Right.
it. And that's when I found the bioidentical hormones. And that's been life-changing. Big
Eh,
difference to your point.
Yeah. Yeah. And it is the most critical thing that if you're on it, you make sure it's bioidentical
Yeah.
because bioidentical hormones they can't be patented. So big pharma is not going to make any money out of them, but they are the best for you because the rest are from an animal.
Yeah.
We're not, a lot of it's from pork now, and then those poor horses. So that research when in America, when they took all those women and they gave them those synthetic hormones from those animals, which were probably fed GMO things,
Yeah.
they had high risk of cancer. So the whole world said, oh, hormones cause cancer. Over
Yeah.
here in Europe, all the research shows au contraire, that is not true, but they're giving bioidentical hormones.
Yes. Right. All right. So, how would you wrap up this treatment plan? What's the next steps? Treat me as if I am one of your
You
patients.
will be,
Right.
because
Yeah.
I can't I can't leave you hanging.
No, please don't. This is good info.
So I'm going to put into my system, I'm going to put all this data that came in my system that your body asked for. I'm going to put that into a homeopathic form. I am also going to imprint that data into an electronic patch. And then I'm going to send it to you, and you're going to take it and you're going to put the patch on somewhere where you have clothes. When your body is done with the patch, it will just release. And then you finish your bottle, and hopefully, then within 6 weeks, we do a reanalysis. And at that time, I'm going to dig into the metabolic weight loss, which was important to you, as well as your body saying it's important. There's something that needs to be tweaked there. So I think
Mhm.
this is very important for your goal.
Excellent. Okay. Well, I have a feeling there's going to be a part two to this podcast.
If you want to share it.
Yes, I love it. I think the audience will also be fascinated by this. I did want to ask about misconceptions because all of this is wildly fascinating. It's very intriguing. What are some misconceptions out there about bioresonance that you've encountered, and how do you address them? For anybody who might be skeptical or have doubts about this, and or somebody who's into traditional medicine that is just this is just way too woo-woo for them. How do you counteract those mindsets?
Well, generally, I have the conversation about if you go into the ER and you're short of breath or you don't feel well, what is one of the first things they're looking at? They're slapping on these electrodes on you because they're measuring the energy, which is frequency of your heart, just your heart. And so we know about frequency and have for years. And Dr. Rife started all that research back in the 50s in a molecular form. So that's interesting in itself. But now they're actually realizing with organ transplant patients, specifically bone marrow, they're doing research on the actual recipient of the bone marrow getting someone else's DNA, which is of another frequency, which is just math. And then that patient is on anti-rejection medicine for life
Yep.
because you put somebody else's frequency in somebody else's
Mm.
frequency. So just think of that concept first. And then the research is showing if they're vibrating frequency medicine during the surgery, the reduction of patients rejecting that is going down statistically. So
Hmm.
their modern medicine is starting to really look at that already. And if you think of the hospital air conditioning systems, filtration systems, they're putting in UV lights, which are UV lights are a specific frequency to zap out and kill different funguses and bacteria. So we use it every day. We just don't know it.
Right.
And
Yes.
we don't conceptualize that. And our telephone is one of them, which changes how your cells function in your body, which is a whole new world of this as well.
So true. Yeah, we've been using it in different ways, and this is just an advanced way of using that same technology. And I'm fascinated. So, well, great. Bring us back to the full screen, unless there's anything else that we
No,
need to
boss.
cover. But I know I'm going to want to go through this offline with you in great detail and
Okay.
learn about the remedy that's right
And
for
I,
my body.
I think maybe at that point we can do your weight loss analysis.
Okay,
I think
perfect.
so.
All
And I
right.
think it would have been way too much data during the main piece.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good. I look forward to part two. I know the audience is going to know how to get a hold of you. Now, you are coming to us from Paris, France, which is great, even though you're from Chicago, Chicago girl
That's right.
like me. And so, share with the audience, please, how people can get a hold of you to do a test like this?
So first of all, my website is Dr. Heather Marchand, and that has a D at the end. So it's written Marchand because I'm married to a French man. And so you can read more about it, and there's some great videos on there, as well as testimonials that we've just added up onto the site. And then you just send me a message, and I will give you the address where you can mail your hair sample. And then when I get it, I just message you. We set up a Zoom call just like this. We record it, get you everything you need, and follow up. And I do this work from my heart. I really, because I'm living proof of it. And it is my mission to empower people about the magic that your body does.
I love it.
Let it do its work.
Yes, I'm going to be processing it all day because of how accurate it was. And I know the ailments in my body currently that were highlighted in this test by a strand of hair. That's pretty fascinating to me.
Well,
Pretty
thank you for
amazing.
taking, I always thank patients for taking the journey with me with this new concept. It's not new, but it's new to the public per se. And to trust. And we do this walk together. Like I always tell my patients, I'd rather hear from you than not hear from you on how you're doing, even between those 6 weeks. Once you get your remedy, please check in with me, and I will be checking in with you.
And how long is a typical treatment? I guess it depends on the
It
severity.
depends. It really depends. I have some pretty sick patients who can be about 3 weeks. 6 weeks is a good timeline. I've seen 8 as well. Patients that are more proactive and we're doing more anti-aging, tuning up sort of things, we do about every 3 months.
Excellent. Okay, I'm up for that. Awesome. Dr. Heather, thank you so much. I so appreciate you finding me and being on the Transform
Thank
with
you for
Angel
being
show.
open and willing to
Yeah,
share
absolutely. That's what the
and
show is about.
educate and empower and change lives one at a time.
That's what we do. So keep up the good work, and
Thank you.
I look forward to seeing you very soon. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Bye.
Thank you.
Wow, what a powerful reminder that healing isn't just physical, it's actually energetic, emotional, and deeply spiritual. A huge thank you to Dr. Heather for sharing her wisdom and helping us see that transformation begins when we tune into the frequencies that our body, our mind, and soul are already whispering. If today's conversation sparked something within you, follow that spark. Your body knows, your spirit is calling. And remember, healing isn't about fixing what's broken, it's about returning to what's whole. Until next time, keep rising, keep resonating, and as always, stay in the flow of who you are. We'll see you next time on the Transformative Angel Show. Hey, everybody, I hope you liked this episode. And if you did, be sure to click that like button, share it with somebody who might find this information interesting. And be sure to visit my website, transformwithangel.com, where you can download a free copy of my latest book, How to Conquer Anything. It's a guide to life's ups and downs. When life throws us that curveball, we finally have a manual to get us through it. And be sure to check out my new signature coaching program, The Path of Becoming, where I take you through the 6 stages of transformation. It will accelerate your transformation journey. Until the next time, just be your best self.